Hello, everyone. My name is Jasmine Pather. I typically hide behind the scenes because I let Josh kind of take the lead on these videos, but I'm his wife and also business partner. And so today we have a special guest. We have Eddy G.
Hello.
So Eddy G is one of our favorite people within our community. And Josh challenged me to do this interview with him. And Eddy and I are both like, I don't know, we're a bit camera shy. We need a makeup and hair team before we do this.
Heck yeah.
But we decided to take him up on the challenge. So I just wanted to thank you, Eddy, for getting out of your comfort zone with me. And
No problem. Thank you very much for having me.
Of course. So I thought we'd start off just by you telling us a little bit about your story on how, obviously I know that you're a DJ. I just would like for you to share your story with the people watching this as to how you found us, how you thought about adding a photo booth, and when you started.
Well, I started DJing mostly part-time about 7 years ago or so. Just like, in-town karaoke, in-town DJing, and I just eventually, it got to be more and more, and then I'm getting closer to retirement. So I decided about a year before I retired officially to expand.
Mm-hmm.
And to actually go out and try to get more gigs and do a little advertising, start pushing a little bit. And then I forgot where I was on the internet somewhere. I was surfing and your guys' website rolled down.
Mm-hmm.
And then I clicked on it. And then as I'm clicking on it, these very small windows were appearing. Josh probably remembers this, about quotes being sent out to someone. You know, like every 5 minutes. So I'm going, wow. So this must, I thought initially that this could be something good. It'll be a good investment. And so I believe I got Josh on the phone initially. And we're talking back and forth for probably a couple weeks. And I was doing some more thinking about it, and I ended up through his wise choice of words about telling me that it's going to help me sell gigs. And that was more than true. The photo booth has been a major addition to my little entertainment company. It's made me actually go legit. I'm totally insured. I'm licensed, the whole ball of wax. And as soon as I start marketing the photo booth with the DJ services, it just exploded. I can't say enough about the investment. It's definitely paid off already since.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
That's what we love to hear. And
really a good thing.
Awesome. And can you tell me how long after you purchased your booth and you started doing gigs with it, were you able to pay off your investment?
I would say it's paid off by now, so probably 14 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Definitely.
And then I want to give you a plug. So tell us the name of your photo booth company and your website and where they can find you on social media.
Okay. The name of the photo booth company is Southland Selfies. And that's like I guess you could call it a subsidiary of Eddy G Entertainment, Inc. That's the, I guess you could say the mother company officially. And then DJ Eddy G and then Southland Selfies, the photo booth portion is under that. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And then tell us what city and state you're based out of.
I am based out of the Chicagoland area. I'm 45 miles south of downtown Chicago. So, because I moved down here, I travel, but that's what I do. I just do a lot of driving. A lot of
Yes.
windshields.
Yes, and then you and I had a conversation maybe about a week or two ago regarding all of the crazy weather that you guys had, and you told me your story about how you still left, I don't know, 3-4 hours before a gig to make sure that
Oh
you
yeah,
could drive through the
yeah.
snow.
Gotta be there on time and ready to go. There's no
Hmm.
excuses, you know.
Hmm. Yes,
Uh, yeah, like I
that's
even drove
dedication.
through. I drove through snow drifts to get to the one. I was like, doing the 10 and 2 on the on the steering wheel. It was
Yeah.
crazy, but we got there early, like I anticipated, and it turned out just fine.
Yeah, that's awesome, and that's what comes with this type of business. You want to. Was it a wedding that you said? It was a
It
wedding,
was
right?
a wedding reception, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it sucks about the weather, but again, you just have to focus on the fact that these people booked you and they're counting on you to be there, regardless of rain, shine, or snow, anything. So I think that's
Exactly.
definitely dedication right there. So I'm sure
Yeah,
did they leave you a 5-star review?
they did actually. Yeah.
Fantastic. I was
Fortunately,
gonna.
I've gotten nothing but 5-star reviews. So
That's awesome.
everybody loves the photo booth, and I'm happy they love the photo booth. I love the smiles it brings. Everybody has a ball with it, and it's a source of income for me, which is even better.
Fantastic. And then, do you do anything to get them to leave you a review?
I did. I pursued them about a week or two afterwards, and I sent them the links, and it was no problem.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, cool. I don't know if you had any tips or tricks to get people to leave reviews. I know sometimes people will say, they'll tell you to your face that they enjoyed the service and if they book with you again, or they'll recommend you. And then you're like, awesome, can you please leave me a review? And then sometimes they never do. So I was just curious if you had a system for that.
Yes, exactly. You exactly expressed the words verbatim that people tell me. And, sometimes it doesn't happen. And
Yeah.
then I pursue it once or twice, and then nothing you could do. I mean, if they don't want to review you, then that's just the way it is,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
part of the
That's
business.
really good that you have nothing but 5-star reviews. So for someone that's interested, that's watching, that's maybe interested in starting their own rental business, what tips would you have for them to be able to achieve 5-star ratings?
It would be that link is in my Eddy G Entertainment website,
Mm-hmm.
eddygentertainment.com, and it's at the bottom. It's reviews with Thumbtack. There's about, I don't know, 44 of them in there, I believe, something like
That's
that.
awesome.
Yeah. Yep.
Were you rated on Thumbtack? I know they do like the badge or the top performers on there. Were you given a
Yeah.
badge?
Top Pro. Yeah, I've been that twice already now.
Fantastic.
Top Pro badge. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yep.
So let's see here. Obviously, you're very active in our Facebook group. So we really appreciate all of the value that and just the interaction that you have with the rest of the community in our private Facebook. How would you describe our group to someone that's not a part of it?
Our group is a place to go that if you just, let's say you purchase a booth with Photo Booth International, there is where you get your support. When I first bought my booth, it's like this thing showed up. It's like, oh my God, what is this? And then I opened up the crate and wow, here it is. And then I looked at it and it's like, wow. So I immediately went into the Facebook group to get through some confusing times, and there were initially.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I went ahead and booked myself anyway because I knew by the time that date would come around that I would have the information I needed, either through looking at the software on the internet or bringing things up in the Facebook group.
Mm-hmm.
There's always answers there, usually
Yes.
somebody has run into the same issue once or twice, something, you know, to that effect.
Definitely. And I mean, it is, I always tell people, you know, whenever they first get their booth, it's easy to get overwhelmed and maybe think, oh, well, I'm in over my head. What is all of this? But the way I always break it down to someone that just seems overwhelmed is it's a computer, it's a camera, and it's a software and a printer. That's really, it's just packaged up in this beautiful package that draws people. But in the end, that's really all it is. And so as long as you take time to get to know the software and play around with it and test it out, you're good. And you're gonna have to learn as you go in some cases. So yeah, I think that's great that you were able to just use the Facebook group, because that's what it's for. And, you know, it's also a way for everyone to know, to feel like you have a community and not feel like you're alone in your journey, starting off especially. And I have to tell you, everyone in that group, we've met some people face to face, and I told you this before, but I think it was Cheryl Horton that came to our grand opening party in January, and you know, we were talking, and one of the things she said, you know, that Eddy G, I just love that man. He just helps out so much, and that makes me so happy, because it just goes to show that, you know, we call our tribe PPI family, and I think that you're a true representation of PPI family, what a PPI family member represents. And so, you know, just the way that she spoke about you, the way that she just lit up when we were talking about you, it just goes to show that, you know, you're adding value to the group, but you're also you've made connections with, you know, some of these people, and they know you, you know them, and you know, anything that you have to bring, you're always willing to share. So I just want to thank you on behalf of everyone in the group.
Well, you're very welcome. I have like to help out. That's what I do, because I know if I'm gonna need help, I'll get help too. So
exactly,
you know, that's just the way it goes.
Mm-hmm. And then tell me a little bit about what made you choose Photobooth International.
It was when I first started, like, getting into marketing for my brand. You know, at the time when I started with the photo booth, or just before I purchased one, I was just, you know, DJ Eddy G. I wasn't Eddy G Entertainment. Mm-hmm. So, you know, that was early on, and it was that, you know, on Facebook, once you, like, it might have came across on Facebook. It was like a little snippet of an ad, you know, for Photo Booth International. And I clicked it, and then a few times I didn't like do it right away. I didn't inquire right away, but it wasn't like maybe a few days where I actually made the call. Okay. And I ended up, like I said, getting Josh on the phone, and that's how it happened, really. It was, you know, classic marketing, really. Yeah. I still get those rolling across my screen from you guys.
just don't click them, because every click is money. Oh. Don't, if it says ad, don't click it.
I think I was a little nervous the other day. I hope I didn't click 6 times.
I'll have to tell Josh.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
No, but being that you're a DJ, were you already getting inquiries about a photo booth when people were approaching you for their weddings and such?
No. The only time I started getting inquiries is when I listed it.
Okay.
Availability, yeah. Then they like fed on each other. It's either I get a photo booth inquiry, and of course, as you know, trying to upsell, you always try to upsell stuff with your brand. I also mentioned about the DJ services, and I would say probably with the photo booth inquiries only, I was maybe half of those I end up booking also the DJ service.
Okay,
that's awesome. And it works both ways, really. You know, with the DJ, I reach out and tell them I have all this stuff. I have, you know, the photo booth, the mirror. I have to say mirror photo booth, because it's not your ordinary photo booth, you know.
Yeah.
I think there was I'm not mistaken, it was the first model you guys came out with, possibly.
Yes.
It's the one you bought. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
And you know, I mentioned that. I mentioned you know, I'm always upselling, like your monogram projections. What else? There's a few things that I try to upsell. Uplighting. You know, I do the best I can with that. So
definitely.
they kind of feed off each other.
Yeah, those are definitely great ways to add value and almost be a one-stop shop. I mean, I know that was kind of one of the things that we tried to push a lot whenever, you know, we were very active with the rentals here in DFW. Is we had uplights, we worked with a partner DJ, we worked with candid photographers. We had, you know, just a variety of different things that we had bundled together. And it was sort of one of those things where, you know, we even had confetti cannons.
Confetti
So,
cannon.
yeah. And I mean, we would charge, I think, about $350 for both cannons. And I mean, all they do is you press a button and they go off, you know, just one time.
It's like
and
one time thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that would be fine for the. It's got to be the perfect moment, you know.
Yeah. You have to have a
cue point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like first dance. We had a lot of inquiries for like first dance, or you know, if they had an indoor ceremony, as soon as they said I do and they kissed or something like that. And it was all powered by a remote, so you know, you just hit the remote and then it do the magic for you. But I think that's great that you've been able to maximize the leads that you're getting from both sides, from the DJ side and from the photo booth side, and then, you know, you end up you know, cross-selling them on multiple things.
Cross-selling, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good term.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I've also added photography since Josh put out that, I think it's candidly.com. I offer that. They don't do weddings though, so I offer that for private parties. I mean, it's listed automatically anyway, but I do have photographers that I work with, you know, that I can recommend to somebody, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, it's such an easy thing to add on and to offer. As long as you have a reliable partner, it's just a great way where both parties win. I mean, you get a percentage because you brought in the client and you spent the money on probably marketing and whatnot, and you pitch them the idea, and then you have the person that actually executes the photography. So it's definitely a win-win.
Right, exactly.
And sometimes some people don't think about that. They might just think, well, my only opportunity with this photo booth is for me to actually go out and do the photo booth gig. But I'm glad that we kind of touched on this, because maybe it might be a light bulb for some, and think, well, I know someone who likes to take photography. What if I team up with them? And a lot of times it might even be a friend or a family member that is involved in something that they can intertwine with their current photo booth business.
Right, exactly. And also to add to that, I know it's been discussed recently by Josh about photo boothers trying to get involved with DJs. Well, I don't see why that can't cross over. Photo boothers using a DJ. Hey, you know, I have an awesome DJ service, partnered with a DJ service. Are you looking for a DJ too? You know, it's basically the same thing, but as long as the boother writes up the contract, so the wedding couple is only dealing with the one person, I think it'd be fine.
Yep. Yeah, that's how we did it for a while. I mean, I don't know if you knew, but Josh was also a DJ, or he was in the DJ realm for a while.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check on his DJ qualities if I ever make it down there by you guys.
Yeah. I mean, did you hear about his first story? Our very first photo booth and DJ event. He did for like $300. I mean, we have the check still. We have it on display. And he, you know, he talked about it during our grand opening, and he shared the story about how it was his first DJ and photo booth combo, and he forgot his laptop.
Oh my God.
And so he ended up
but I was only 10 miles away, fortunately. So I had to make a U-turn.
Yeah, yeah. At this point, it was too late for him to turn back, and he ended up using 2 iPhones to DJ.
Oh,
I'm guessing with like the auxiliary input and
yeah.
work, he made it work.
Oh my
But
God. The sweat must have been pouring up his forehead.
yeah, somehow he still made it work, and that
Yeah.
was, that's definitely a memorable first photo booth and DJ event. Um, but yeah, I brought that up to say, he did a lot of the DJ stuff in the beginning, and then he had someone else working the booth. And then after a while, he realized, well, there's maybe a better way of doing this. If they're inquiring about a DJ for a certain weekend and I'm already booked or doing this, I don't want to lose out on the money. So we actually had a guy that was an established DJ approach us about purchasing a photo booth. And at the time, he couldn't afford it. So he was a really likable guy. We jived with him very well. And
Yeah.
so a partnership came out of that. And so that's how we were able to offer the photo booth and DJ combo. And like you said, as long as there's a structure in place and everyone kind of knows, has a clear definition of their role regarding the agreement and how they're going to handle the customer, it works out really well, and it draws in more people as they're searching for DJ in our area, say DFW. Then we might pop up with the DJ service, but then they hadn't thought
Right.
of a photo booth, and like you, sort of like how you do it, they're drawn into the other options that we had available.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Like they keep crossing, and that's it's the best way to do it, really.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, obviously, I know there is a couple of photo boothers that in our group that are thinking about offering a DJ also. So I was kind of helping a couple of them with some, some DJ secrets.
What to look out for?
Like Pandora. I use Pandora for cocktail music and dinner music. People love it.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, there's so many platforms. I mean, there's Spotify, there's Apple Music, there's Pandora, of course. But I mean, yeah, you just go on Spotify, you search, I don't know, rhythm and blues from the 2000s or whatever, and someone would have already made a playlist.
Yep. Yeah, that's awesome. Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So tell me, I know that you said that you were able to pay off or get the ROI on your photo booth in about 14 months after you got your booth. Tell me, once you got your booth, how long was it before you had a booking or your first booking?
I want to say 2 months. Yeah.
That's
2
awesome.
months. Yeah, after I got the booth, after about a week's time, I set it up, of course, experimenting, checking it out, kind of addressing it. Mm-hmm. I call it Miss Daisy. I hope that's okay.
I love it. It's a she.
So, and then I decided with some sweat on my brow, I'm just going to go ahead and book something. Mm-hmm. So I think I got some stock pictures from you guys, and the website got active, and that's how I was able to get those. Because without nothing like for people to go to and look at, there's virtually no chance, I would say.
Yeah, definitely.
And to get that first booking was huge. I was nervous, of course. It was a single shot. So that was kind of confusing. I was doing multiple things, but this was single, and it turned out I inquired. I think I wrote you guys actually for support. And it's a default setting in Social Booth, so that was easy. And then you gave me some help further along with, putting files on the desktop to grab when you got to load in files to the software, and that made things so much easier. So yeah, I got it done, and I actually had another gig with the same lady about 4 weeks after that. And again, I had to drive through a snowstorm.
Oh goodness.
That was back in January last year.
Okay. Okay.
So, yep.
That's awesome. No, I think it, you know, depending on where you are, it's always going to be a bit of a challenge to get that first gig going. And like you said, you were nervous, but you pushed through it. But once you gain that confidence from working your very first event, you do gain some momentum, and then you feel more confident offering it as a service and just knowing that you can do it. And I think with any business, you're going to have challenges. So tell me, can you tell me about a time that you were faced with a challenge at an event and maybe how you handled it? Because I think, you know, it's important to talk about, you know, it is technology. Maybe sometimes something might happen that's out of your control. But tell us how you prepared for an event and then how you handled an issue that's come up during an event.
Okay. Well, the DJ portion usually is no problem in most cases. You know, I have a spare laptop with me at all times too, loaded up, ready to go with the same music just in case. So the photo booth, I did run into a problem one time. I mean, this is what I do at my photo booth. About 2 to 3 days beforehand, well, first of all, I had the client pick out the template. And then I send the template to my wonderful, wonderful editor. This is a plug for my editor, Frederica Collins. She does awesome work on my editing. I can't say enough about that. And she gets the stuff back to me quick. Anyway, so I put it in there. I load it in. I make sure, you know, I connect everything, the camera, even though I don't take really any pictures because there's no flash. But make sure it prints. All that's good. Pack it up and get it out the door, head up to the gig. And one time, I don't know what happened, it was social booth. And just after like 6 or 7 sessions, it just wouldn't run. And I'm trying to DJ, and I did what I could. I tried to download new software. I just didn't have enough time. It might have been different if I could have sat there with it and spent some time, but it was just a no-go. So that was the only time out of, I don't know, 30, maybe more gigs. And I've changed software, so that's working out well, very well.
You're on Darkroom now, right?
I am, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was really it. No, you know, my fear, and of course I had to give money back on the photo. That's just the way it goes. I mean, it is technology. In my contract, it is written up where they're guaranteed to have at least 80% use there in their contracted time. Up until that point, I don't have to give them any money back. But when it drops below 80%, then I have to like prorate it, you know, to whatever. If they really push it. I mean, I don't know if a client would really push that, but
and that 20% really just allows you to account for changing ink and paper when the ink runs out. Maybe doing a small little troubleshoot or a restart, something like that. Yeah, but I'm glad that you kind of took us through your method of preparation for each gig. And I think that's all you can do. I always stress, you know, just take your time, because especially when you're starting off, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, especially like I remember my first gig. We were so busy, and Josh was just kind of like, off you go to your first gig on your own, you know? And
see you later.
He was like,
have fun, don't call me.
And he, you know, he was going to be working a gig too. All of us, I mean, I can't remember how many gigs it was, but because, you know, at one point we had 12 photo booths going out every weekend.
Wow.
And so, you know, it was just time for me to spread my wings and fly. And like, I remember just feeling like, oh man, I hope everything goes smooth. I hope I don't have to, you know, call Josh because he's at a gig and I know the music's going to be loud and I won't be able to hear him. And what if there's a line and all this, and it's so easy to get caught up in what if. And I end up going to my first gig, and I think all of my worry was projected out into the universe, and something did happen. I had printer problems. I kept having printer jam, and I think all it was that my little end caps for the media or the ink weren't, I mean, for the paper weren't in all the way, and I think that's what was causing my paper to jam. And so I freaked out because there was a line and there's all these people,
of course,
and everyone's asking you, is the photo booth ready? Is the photo booth ready? And I just could feel myself just sweating. My palms are sweaty, and I'm like, oh no, it happened.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think it has to happen to everyone, because then you know how to handle it, And it's like once it happens, and you're like, okay, yes, it happened. I was able to fix the problem. Keeping calm would have helped me solve the problem a lot faster. And
it usually does. You're right.
Yeah. And so I think it's important to just remember, again, it's coming back to those basics. It's a computer, it's a printer, and it's a camera, and some software, and that's all it is. And so I think, we it's easy to just focus on all of these other things, but I just wanted to mention that because I just wanted to share my experience as well, because my first gig was definitely scary, and I did feel overwhelmed. But after that, I pretty much was confident. Okay, I can do this next time, no problem. And for the most part, there's, like you said, not really any issues that you have to worry about. Everything runs pretty smoothly, and
And then you usually, in most cases, I would say a quick reboot will get things lined up again. And then, so what if you have to reboot it again? I mean, get through the evening and then get it home and then set it up and see what's going on,
Definitely. And then tell me a little bit about, since you do DJ, whenever you have DJ and photo booth gigs, are you 100% responsible for your DJ? And then do you have someone that attends the photo booth? Do you pay someone to do that?
Yeah, I have two guys. With DJ and photo booth, it's just too much stuff for this guy of 60 years old. So I have two other guys.
You don't look like you're 60, by the way.
Oh, thank you very much. This made my afternoon.
No, really.
What's that?
I said, really, you don't.
Thank you. Believe me, all the stress I've had in my life, I should look like I'm 75. But anyway, thank you again. And yeah, I do have two guys, and they run the photo booth for me.
Okay.
They keep it going. Yeah. My firm belief is, although it will run by itself, but you need to get the people going through. I mean, otherwise it gets jammed up and everybody takes forever to get through. I mean, I can get average. I think if it goes really well and people are like moving right through and everything, probably 25 sessions per hour, which, it's about maybe 70 or so sessions per wedding for a 3-hour rental. So that's about usually the average. Sometimes down to 20 and then stuff like that. But I have two guys that run it. And then as soon as the night's over with, they start picking all the props up, the tables, they start wrapping everything up. And then I walk over and I upload all of the photos into a thumb drive for the wedding couple. And then I also upload into Pixie Set as well.
Okay.
For online viewing, yeah.
That's awesome. And then tell us a little bit about your two employees. Are they friends or family, or how did you find them, and how long have they been working for you?
They have been working for me since last August, since I kind of had a leg injury. I couldn't do much of anything, pretty much. So I went on Facebook, of course, and inquired, looking for help for DJ and photo booth jobs. And I immediately got like within 5 minutes, this guy's wife gets a hold of me, and she says, he's looking for work on the side. So it's like, okay, so I had the wife telling me that he's going to be working for me. That's perfectly fine, of course. And so I had him working for me, and then I rotate between a couple 18-year-old kids for the other help. So I've got plenty, including my son. You know, I want him to take this over eventually. I'm not going to be able to do this forever.
Yeah.
I just kind of be in the background, like you were. You're like in the background.
Yeah. I like to be in the background, but I am trying to break out of my comfort zone. Nothing. This is step one this year.
Yeah.
So I'm sure Josh is going to be like, see, you could do it. Now you're going to do all of them for me.
You're like a veteran. I could tell that already. You've done this many times before, right?
Well, it's so easy when you're having a conversation with Eddy G, you know. I think you and I could just talk for hours and hours and hours. Last time we were like, we just started talking about, I think your backdrop. Yeah, that's how we started talking, and then it just ran off and it became a 45-minute conversation. So.
Right.
But yeah, no. The reason I brought up who helps you and how did you find them is because I realized that some people are still just 100% focused on just doing all the events themselves, and they still don't trust someone to help them, especially if say they've upgraded to 2 booths now. So they're out working maybe one and they're paying someone else to handle the other event. So
right.
Have you had that happen yet, to where you've had to just be out completely hands off and have someone do the whole gig on their own?
One time, yeah, I did. I had to, although it was in town, I had to go set it up. And the one teenager, the 18-year-old, he was able to stay there. I could never trust a 35-year-old for running anything computer-wise. But
you're 60 and you do very well.
He does my 35-year-old, he's like a whiz at setting up and breaking down. I just can't say enough about the guy. But as far as running the, you know, like say if you had to reboot something or whatever, no, forget it. So it was in town. I went to go set it up, and I left them there, and I had to go head into Chicago to play a club. And then I came back the next day, and I just loaded up everything the next day. So that, because it was in town, it was very convenient. But I am, you know, I'm teetering, and I need to find somebody that I could depend on to go out like you did when Josh kicked you out the door. There you go, start flying.
Yeah.
I need to find somebody that can do that. And that's the key, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I think as long as you kind of have a system in place for, we used to have a checklist for all of our attendants, and you know, we would actually prep each booth, maybe like Thursday, if we had a lot of gigs Friday, Saturday, and even Sunday, we'd start prepping them maybe by Wednesday. We do updates on Wednesdays, and then Thursdays, we just make sure that we had enough media, extra media for each booth, and go ahead and make sure each booth had duct tape and extra roll of ink and paper, scissors,
scissors,
you know, thumb drives, just, you know, anything that you would need to set up your gig, right? And then we'd also just go ahead and run through or load the templates onto each booth and test them to make sure nothing's getting cut off and things like that.
Right.
And it's all about preparation. So as long as I think you have a checklist that each attendant is supposed to do, you know, we would do all that before they even arrive to pick up the booth. And then we would still have them double check everything again, because we could never be too sure, you know, we just always want to have everything covered. And we found that system really helped, that checks and systems, it just really worked for us. And then we would have the attendant text us. Well, we had cameras in the warehouse, so we could see when people would come and grab their booth. And we had a 2-hour rule. Each attendant's supposed to arrive 2 hours before the gig starts, and that gives them enough time to still do a test sprint there at the warehouse, make sure they
Okay.
have everything they need, and then head to their gig, and then they're to send us a picture of their test sprint at the gig. So we had all of these checkpoints in place,
Yeah.
and
Right.
I just felt like you could never be too careful. But I think it does take a little bit of time to maybe find someone that's trustworthy, make sure that they're going to be prompt and on time, and that they're also going to be engaged with the customers, right? Or with the host and their guests. Because it's one thing to, just tap the screen and then just be on your phone. And that's, it's just so unprofessional. And so
Yeah.
every
That's
now and then we
no
would
good.
do pop-ins. We do pop-ins every now and then. If Josh and I had the opportunity, we'd do pop-ins.
Yeah.
That was one of the ways. And we would tell them, hey, just so you know, there might be a random pop-in here or there to keep them on their toes,
Keep them on their toes, right? Exactly.
Yeah. So those are just some of the tips I have, that work for us. But I think it's awesome that, you do have help, because like you said, there's no way that you'd be able to do the DJ and the photo booth yourself.
No, there's no way.
Yeah.
What I can do is if there's an issue, they would come over to me and they say, hey, there's an issue. I'm going, okay. So I roll my eyes and, and then I look in the songs, and I'm sure Josh can relate to this. Then I gotta pick a song, and then I load it, and then I just tell the guy that told me to go over to the photo booth, there's a problem. I just tell him, stand here. If the song runs out, flip the lever and hit play. That's all you gotta do. So I just go over there and look at it, and then in most cases I can be back with plenty of time. A reboot only takes a couple minutes to get the thing back online and set to go.
Definitely.
Or if there's a printer issue, I am as far as putting media in, I could do that pretty fast now. At first it was like Miss Daisy. It's like, wow, how does this happen? The computer sends a signal and the printer prints out this like picture that's been developed at Walgreens. It's like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So I looked at there were some videos in the PPI University website that I looked and seen how you load it. You gotta wait for the beeps when you put the paper in and make sure the spools are tied, and put the ribbon in, and you're all set.
Yeah.
Remember, I only had that printer problem once, and it turned out to be a manufacturer defect. So that's all been resolved with your guys' help. So I'm good to go with that. But
fantastic. Yeah, so I'm glad that you touched on PPI University. So tell me how PPI University and the training that we have to offer with the photo booth, tell me how that's helped you with your business.
Well, before I even got to photo booth, I went in there, and it's a requirement for warranty. So I definitely went in there to look at all the videos and like that. And that was basically my go-to place. Like for the camera setups, I'm not like a photographer. I know we have some photographers in the group, which is really an advantage, I would say, as far as how to get that set up properly. But now it's still set up to those settings. And the only thing I do now is I set the focus every gig. I make sure I put it on autofocus, and I kind of depress. It even says that in the video on PPI University. It says depress it just a little bit to set the focus, and then I put it back in manual, and it's perfect. Never had a problem with that. Before, I used to just tape it. I would put Scotch tape on it, and then I realized that the lens still gets pushed in and stuff. So that was a learning experience. You learn from your mistakes.
Yes.
And I did that, and by looking at the prints. Like when I set up the photo booth, I do a couple single printouts to see how the lighting is, see how the focus is, and all that stuff. And then that might take 3 or 4 times to adjust that properly.
Yep.
But then it's set. So yeah, I went back to that not so much anymore, since I'm already going in
pro now.
Well, I guess you could say that. Yeah. but I definitely, like before I even got to photo booth, I was in there trying to familiarize myself with what's going to be happening and the software. But I still, even though PPI University doesn't get into this, I still can't do Photoshop. It's like,
Yeah.
I gave up on it. Can't do it.
But
So
to
that's
tie that in,
Frederica
sorry,
Collins
go ahead.
does all my stuff.
Exactly. I was going to tie it back into her. And this is kind of something that Josh always preaches is, you know, you don't have to be good at everything. You don't need to learn Photoshop. You know, maybe that's not worth your time. Your time might be better spent. You know, you're such a people person, Eddie, and I'm sure your time is better spent creating that that bond with your new customer, or you know, telling them a little bit about what you do, whatnot. Maybe your job is maybe best as the face of your brand, right? You are your brand.
Right.
And so I think it's awesome that you are able to leverage other people like Frederica, and you know, get her to do your layouts and whatnot, because she's fantastic at it. And so you're not the first person to say that she's awesome at, you know, those layouts, and that she's helped so many of our customers in the group. So it just goes to show, again, the community that we have is awesome. Everyone's always willing to help each other. And you know, I think it's great that you don't want to learn Photoshop. You don't need to.
No, that's okay. You know, it would take me literally to change like even some small like fonts. Like I think I would hit the redo button so many times after an hour's time. I just said, that's it, closing it down. And that's, I don't know how I just happened to, I think I was just chatting with her, and I happened to ask her if she was interested in doing editing. I'm going, yes, because I was doing Fiverr for a little bit, and then I was originally doing Fiverr in the beginning, and I had some issues with, you know, getting the files are getting mixed up from one template to the other because they were very similar. That's never happened with Frederica, so it's all been good.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I'm so happy to hear that. And we need to actually do an interview with her, because she's been killing it. I always see her posting stuff, and like I said, you're not the first person to shout her out and say thanks to her Photoshop skills.
awesome.
But yeah, I think we're towards the end of our interview here, and I guess on the last note, I just wanted to get you to give us some feedback as to how your overall experience was with Photobooth International, and you know, what you could tell someone that's maybe on the fence and just trying to determine if we're the right fit for them.
Photobooth International is awesome. Awesome from day one. Since I was entertaining the idea of getting the photo booth, I got some good advice from Josh in the beginning, and that's what kind of tipped the scale. And then always you guys are there for support. You have the Facebook group that's got all kinds of other members in there who could be experiencing the same problem or maybe not, but can still input. Even if it's not a total answer, you can put everything together and come up with a solution yourself. But always, if I do get another booth, it's definitely going to be through you guys, for sure. No doubt about it.
We're so happy to hear that. And again, whenever we hear, everyone here knows the name Eddy G. Everyone knows who you are. And so we truly value you as a customer, and as a friend. I feel like you're my friend. And I think Josh would say the same thing, and everyone in the group would say the same thing. So yeah, it's just a joy to have you be a part of our community, and you know, anything that we can do to help, you know, we're here for you. I appreciate you again for stepping out of your comfort zone to do this interview with me. I think we did okay. And so I called Josh back in here so that he could just say hi or say bye, really. And then, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. But okay, can you repeat your website and social media handle for anyone that wants to follow you before we hang up?
Okay, it's my main website is eddygentertainment.com. My sister website for the photo booth is southlandselfies.com.
Mhm.
And I also have Instagram with Southland Selfies. I'm not even sure how Instagram works. It's still kind of like Miss Daisy. You know, I don't know what's. I just post pictures in there, and you know, and I also have a Facebook. Also, Eddy G Entertainment / DJ Eddy G / Southland Selfies. You know, the whole kit and caboodle.
Fantastic. Well, thank you again. And looks like Josh actually had to step away for a little bit, but I'll tell him you said bye. And
Okay.
I really appreciate your time today.
Okay, same here. Thanks a lot for having me.
All right, take care. Talk
Okay,
soon.
bye-bye.